Hello everyone. Kenyon here, Basketball Rewind, and I'm doing a solo version of Draft Talk. I'm doing this mainly so that we can get through as many prospects as possible. Of course, Coach and beyond will be back in future episodes for sure, but this is just to ensure that we can get through as many prospects as possible. If there's someone that we may not get a chance to cover or someone that you want us to cover, comment down below. It's the easiest way to get a response. I try to be as responsive as possible and respond to almost every single comment. So definitely, if there's a prospect that you don't want us to miss out on, or that there is at least even one person that outlines, we will try to get to it. Without a further ado, time to talk about Maluach. The Duke Center has been turning heads for a while now. Of course, the first time that I noticed the guy who was originally reported at 7'2", but officially, according to Duke, is around 7 foot and a little bit, with the 7'5" wingspan. I mean, you can't teach height, and that's the first thing that I want to talk about here. I mean, he towers over everyone. There's not even a question on whether or not he is a real, just a real 7-footer. And there's not many on the planet, and a large portion of them do play basketball. The old adage is that you can't teach height, and again, that remains true in the modern game. I mean, even though things have skewed towards more of a speedier style of something that's more agile, the need and the advantage of having a agile or competent big man who can man the back line for multiple possessions in a game is one of the keys that remains competitive, or being able to spread out the money that you would spend on a max level player between two centers, like we saw with the Raptors having Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka. That too, because that allows for versatility of play. So, with that being said, let's get into Maluach. A lot of his on-court value isn't just because he's tall. He's agile enough, although there are times when, yes, he's 18, he's going to grow into his body, but it seems like he needs to get used to his body. He's currently averaging 8 points, 6.6 rebounds. I'm not including the tournament play, of course. And he's doing that while getting to the line at least twice, per game. And he converts at a very high level, 75% at the line. To me, having a center who can convert at the line at a reasonable level, 75% or above, it really helps, because in the fourth quarter, which is what I always think about, what happens in the fourth quarter of the playoffs down the road? Maybe not year one, could be year 2, 3, 4, whenever, year 8. You need someone who's not going to be hack-a-yak or hack-a-shack or whatever taken off the floor because of that weakness that teams can just exploit. And that's one thing that he really has there. I think the thing with Maluach is the stats don't necessarily jump off the page initially when you just look at the box score in general. However, an advanced analytics and combined with some sort of form of film study is the best way to go, as with all prospects. So, I first noticed Maluach during the South Sudan's run, of course, their FIBA run going to the Olympics last year, and he matched up against the likes of, whether it was a friendly or not a friendly match, he was matching up against the likes of, Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, and he did not shy away from, basically those matchups that were presented in front of him. He didn't look like a deer stuck in the headlights. We saw him display a bit more of a complete arsenal, so to speak, in that tournament, with him knocking down a couple pick and pop jumpers in the mid-range, with him, hitting corner threes. Yes, it was wide open, but if you can hit the corner threes, start hitting them on a regular rate, and then get defenses to adjust, you are now creating an advantage for others in certain set plays. Of course, the playmaking it does leave some to be desired so far, but also we have to remember that, again, he is demonstrating the offense that he is with the assortment of jukes that he is and the offensive moveset that he is, whether it's limited in some or in some regards or raw, we do have to remember that Duke does like to run their offense in a way that does box centers in. I compare him a lot to Derek Lively, one of Duke's most recent centers, of course, who has kind of risen to prominence. And for me, I will add a caveat that a lot of the advantages on the defensive end that Maluach does present does come with the fact that he is playing with a really high level defensive two-way guy in Cooper Flagg. And so there are times when they will put him out on the perimeter and he will get blown by because they know that Cooper Flagg can clean up the mess. So I don't know. It leaves you wondering, and now that, at the time of filming this, Cooper Flagg has just gotten injured in the tournament, hopefully he's able to return to play, but it will kind of give you a better look of what Maluach can do without having that backline defender. If you are in the Scotty Barnes can be an elite defensive player, then like that kind of maybe gives you some sort of form of a roadmap that you can go to. If you think that he is going to be good, but maybe not all NBA or sorry, all defense good, top 10 defensive level in the league, then you may not feel as confident there, but that's okay. I think going back to Maluach, he is certainly someone that is not really getting hunted as a result of his length. His blocks are a little bit low, but at the same time, especially compared to Lively, he is not just someone who can act as a rim protector. He does stay disciplined. He's not jumping like Chris Boucher at every single thing, or at least the former Chris Boucher, although sometimes Chris Boucher does play undisciplined on defense still. He uses his length in a way where it's very disciplined. And as such, he is able to deter the lane, even if he's not the ultimate rim protector like Wemby. He's a decent rim protector combined with his presence, which deters lane penetration, which is good. I think for that reason, I believe he is the next in line of what I will affectionately call the Slenderman revolution, which is coming into the NBA, the new form of unicorns. So that would be Mobley, Wemby, Chet, Sarr, and there are others, of course, that I'm probably missing out on. Maluach is just a natural continuation and evolution of that type of movement. So I think it's interesting because I say that, and yet I have to also point out, compared to the other guys that I just talked about, he's not really so slender. He's actually currently weighing in around 250. So he's not going to come in like rail thin like some of the other guys where I have to worry about, their leg injuries coming in or anything like that. He does have a good amount of size to him. But yeah, going back to the Lively comparison, and I think focusing on the defensive box plus minus, we'll see that the better defender is, of course, Lively with a 6.8 box plus minus versus 3.4. However, it is on the offensive end of the floor where Maluach is able to separate himself with an offensive box plus minus of 5.7 to Lively's 2.3. In other words, I think that, just as Lively showed in the NBA that he can not only defend, but he had some defensive upside, I would say for Maluach, I think that there is a little bit more on the offensive end here while being a solid defender. Simply put, it's if he's not truly boxed in, it might take some time. He is raw. So I do want people to remember, like, he can make some differences in a limited role on an NBA court, but at the same time, I think he will have to get used to the speed of the NBA for sure. And it might be a 2-year project, but there is something there that could be interesting for sure. Obviously, we will talk about other centers in the future. But yeah, if the Raptors selected him, I think that, as long as they brought him along slowly, which they have the luxury of doing so because of Pirtle, I think he could be able to contribute without the pressure of needing to be a top level pick who needs to show the ability to impact and contribute to winning very shortly, like a lot of top four, top whatever picks do. I think there's not necessarily that pressure on him, which is nice. It gives you a chance to obviously solidify the center depth. Chomsky exists as well, but Chomsky I think could also play the four, and of course having a size advantage like that based on the fact that the Raptors have lacked that at times over the past couple of years. It would be nice. 2.4 blocks. I'm not sure if I mentioned that before, but yeah, I think the final thing, just to kind of cap that off, is again, the fact that you can have him in a low usage role. I mean, the fact that you compare him to the other guys, he doesn't really. Yeah, the numbers don't scream star potential, but I think he could be a really, really solid player if the Raptors miss out on a top four pick. I personally wouldn't pick him top four, but I know other people would. So that's it. That's all for Khaman Maluach. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit shorter. Take care. Peace. Like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, we're trying to keep moving up and growing this channel. So enjoy this. Take care. Peace.